I'm a big fan of connected home fitness and have been using NordicTrack treadmills for quite some time now. Not only are they easy on the body, they have features that I haven't seen on any other treadmills, and you can travel all around the world on these outdoor run experiences they have, and they are just second to none. I hope you enjoyed this video. It will tell you everything you need to know about the EXP Series treadmills. Let's get cracking. I've had this treadmill in my gym for a couple of weeks now, and the hardware has been excellent. The build quality on this has been really good. Like all treadmills, though, you will need two people to build this tread. But once again, it was easy. It probably took me about half the time it took to build my NordicTrack 2450. One thing I really like about the EXP10i is that it's got this great space-saving feature, so that when it's not in use, it easily stores upright like this, and it actually comes into the room less than a stationary bike would. To bring it down, you just press the hydraulic pin here, comes down fast at the start, and then it's like a soft eject, if you remember what they were on tape decks. I love working out, and I'm in here probably 5 or 6 times a week, and I split my cardio between a treadmill, a NordicTrack treadmill, and a NordicTrack stationary bike, the S22i, which is a fantastic bike. And one of the reasons why I much prefer a treadmill to running outside is just because it's much easier on my joints. If I run outside, which I don't, if you see me running outside, then you better start running because something's gone very wrong somewhere, then I really feel it afterwards. When I'm running in here, as long as I warm up, which I do before every workout, I feel great, the workouts go well, and I don't have any effects afterwards after the run. Another benefit of these guided workouts, the reason I'm not showing you it on the treadmill is because to show you on the tread, then the tread belt would go round and it'd make a noise. I'm showing you the workouts on the TV. This is a fantastic one. This is the 2022 Boston Marathon with Tommy Rivs. A fantastic workout. It's over several parts, and no matter what your ability is, you can do it, and I'll explain why later. One thing that the EXP10i manages very well is being firm enough to give you confidence when you're walking, running, or hiking, but at the same time giving you enough cushioning to avoid any sort of discomfort or injury. And to give you some idea of what the treadmill sounds like, here it is. And what I find is when I've got my headphones in, I can't really hear that, but if you're running using the speakers, then you will hear the belt going round. One thing I've always struggled with is tight calves. I'm not going to tell you what I call them, but let's just say they're always looking to speak to the manager. And I've found that with just a 5-minute warm up before getting on this treadmill, I'm fine. Each workout generally contains a short warm up anyway, but I haven't had any problems with injuries. It's been a real pleasure to use. I would score the running belt on this treadmill a solid 8 out of 10. It really is quite good. I've got the 2450 here and I've got lots of experience on this treadmill. I would give this one a 9. So the 2450 is slightly better, but the EXP10i is a lot cheaper and it's also very good. And that's why I feel that the EXP series is the Goldilocks of the range. This is the 14i, this got 14-inch screen, the 10i has a 10-inch screen, and the 7i has a 7-inch screen. Now there are some plastics here, but you only touch this area when you get on and off. The main touch points, or the 2 touch points really, are going to be the belt, which is very good, and also this tablet, which is also very good and really responsive. I like the 14i because it's got the 14-inch screen, but if you go for one of the smaller screens, there's also a tablet holder here. If, for instance, you want to watch middle-aged men on YouTube in their PE kits, each to their own. If you're thinking about buying a NordicTrack EXP10i or any other piece of NordicTrack equipment, I'll put a link in the description and that will take you to the best price on their website, and it also helps support the channel, which is greatly appreciated. All NordicTrack equipment runs iFit software, which I'm going to show you in a moment, and it's excellent. When you first get your treadmill, it will give you a 3 months trial, and then it will ask you to sign up for a monthly membership. My advice would be just to go onto iFit's website and decide which membership's right for you. So we're a family of 4, and at least 2 of us, the kids, they said they would use it, but they don't. We're a family of 4 and there's 2 of us using this. So we have a family membership. and we buy that annually, and we bought it last year for a year and it was $250 for the year, which is a good saving on paying for it monthly. That was in the Black Friday sale. If you're a sole user, it will be even cheaper than that. So have a look at the membership options, either on the iFit website or NordicTrack's website, and you could save some money over just saying yes to a free month and then paying for a family membership, especially if you don't really need a family membership. This is the screen you see when you first get on the tread. So currently I'm doing a hike, a series of hikes, which are excellent, I can recommend them. And they're actually quite hard. It sounds like they're easy, but they're not. And then you've got the latest from iFit. So this section here shows you the latest workouts that have come up from iFit, as well as latest programs. Up next for you. So as you go through workouts and you get a choice to rate them afterwards, it starts to build up a profile of your next workout. So depending on how you feel, you might decide you're not going to do the recommended workout. But what you can do is you can say, look, I'm not going to do that today, but you can click on it and then you can click the schedule button and you can say, I am going to do that workout tomorrow, and it will schedule it for you. And then today you can do one of these instead, for instance. There's also challenges on here, as well as recommended workouts, so based on what you've done. And then you've got recommended series as well. You can also browse by category: running, walking, mind, hiking, etc. One thing I really love is the auto follow feature. Now, as somebody who, as I've mentioned, is not an experienced runner, no workouts on here are out of bounds for me. So if I pick a beginner workout, which might be a little bit too easy for me, then if the resistance on the workout, the difficulty is doing this throughout the workout, I can set it to be higher, which means that the workout's doing this, but my resistance automatically changing a level above. Conversely, and what happens more often than not, is if I pick an advanced workout, then the difficulty is up here, but I've got it set to be a level below when I'm doing my workout. You just adjust it once in the workout and it remembers that setting and carries it through. It is a really good feature. So when you're looking at iFit's library, there's 17,000 workouts on here. You're not restricted to your skill set. If you want to do a beginner, you can. If you want to do an advanced, you can. It would just be changed to suit your needs. But as much as that is really impressive, what's more impressive is the active pulse feature. So if you wear a heart rate monitor, I wear a Whoop, then it will link seamlessly to the machine and it will keep you in the correct heart rate zone. And that means I don't have to make any adjustments to the treadmill, to the workouts on the treadmill. I just put the smart heart rate adjustment on, and then as I'm working out, it will see my heart rate go up and it will say you're slightly higher than what we would like to see, and it will reduce the intensity for me. Or if it sees my heart rate drop below the intensity it wants me to be at, it will raise the speed and resistance on the machine. And one thing I've got my machine set to, which you may or may not need, is I've got my machine set to not go above 7 miles an hour. Because one thing I was worried about was, will the auto adjust run away from me? It never does. But you can cap the top speed on your treadmill just in case if you really want to. If you prefer to do things manually, then you've got your controls here. So these are your gradient controls. You've also got a start and a stop button, an emergency button as well. It also has auto fan, which I absolutely love. So you can adjust the fan to a speed that suits you, or it can be automatic. You've got volume controls here for the music as well. This screen, now, there's a light in here. I don't know if you can see, there's a spotlight right there. There it is. So if, like me, you've got spotlights, you can adjust the screen to suit your viewing angle and also remove any glare from lights. What's not coming across as much on the camera is this surround. So this is a little bit of a gloss finish, which I'm not so keen on. I prefer a matte finish or something to match the bezel on the actual screen here. And your speed functions are all here. Now, one question I get asked a lot is, should you buy an EXP Series treadmill or go to the next level up and look at one of the Studio Series treadmills like the two I have behind me here? Mainly people are interested in the 1750, which is kind of just a little bit above the EXP10i. So in this part of the video, I'm going to be comparing the differences and also the similarities between the two. And it will give you an idea whether you should be looking at the EXP range or maybe thinking about going to the Studio Series range. On my right, which is your left, I have the more budget-friendly EXP10i, and on the left, I have the Studio Series Commercial 1750. This treadmill is about a third more expensive than this one generally. Is it a third better? Let's find out. Before I talk about the differences between these treadmills, I want to talk about the areas in which they're both the same. And they both run this software, which is the iFit software. And this is hands down the best outdoor fitness experience you can have on an indoor machine. This is where iFit really shine, and regardless of which treadmill you buy, you'll have this software. Here we are, we're running between the Arc de Triomphe and the Louvre in Paris, and this is Yosemite National Park. And they've got tens of thousands of these workouts on here. I've done hundreds of iFit workouts, and it feels to me like they're releasing more workouts like this than I can actually keep up with. The quality of these outdoor workouts is excellent. It really takes your mind off it, especially if you're not a natural fitness person or natural runner. Having these guided scenic fitness runs is just second to none. I can't recommend it enough. Next is getting fit, and whichever treadmill you choose, I really believe you'll get equally as fit using either. This one is running a 5K race with Ashley, who's an excellent trainer. And here we have a cardio workout. So you can use these treadmills without the belt running, only this one's running. If you're doing cardio or yoga. My preference though is to put it on a big screen, either with a Fire Stick, an Apple TV or Roku, something like that. Use the app on a television if you've got one. I feel like that's an easier experience than working at the end of a treadmill. Next is build quality. I would say they're both excellent. The 1750 on the right here does have a slightly more premium feel to it and also a look to it, but there's not a lot in it. Your touch points, which are the treadmill belt and the screens, are really where it counts. And these both have identical screens. Now I'll talk about this further in a moment because they do look slightly different, but they're both identical. And I'll also talk about the running belts as well because they're both very good, but slightly different. The 14i is slightly more compact. You might be able to see that it's actually slightly lower and it is very slightly narrower. And there's a difference in the belt length as well. The belt length on this is 55 inches compared to 60. It makes no difference to me which one I'm on. They're both 20 inches wide. However, if you're very tall or you've got a very long stride length, that might be a factor for you. Now, both of these treadmills have exactly the same screen, but they look different, don't they? The difference is actually in the housing. So with the 14i, this is a fixed housing. So that means it won't move, but you can tilt the screen up and down, depending on the height of the user, or also if you've got lights above you. You can also put a tablet here, which I really like. So you've got a shelf here for your tablet or your phone, very useful. With the 1750, the screen here is fixed. You can't move that screen. However, the console around moves. So this tilts forward and backwards, and it also goes 180 degrees in either direction, which is quite handy if you want to do off the tread workouts because you can just turn that to face you wherever you are. The screen height may also be a factor for you. I'm fine on both of these machines, but I do feel like I'm looking slightly down at the screen on this one compared to this one. When you think about your natural, perhaps running eye line when you're outside, you're trying to avoid dog poo, curbs, pets, etc. I feel like this is closer to where I'd actually be looking outside if I was running, whereas this is slightly down. I think it's a small difference, so it probably won't be a factor for many people unless you are quite a tall person. And if you're thinking about buying either of these machines, I'll put a link in the description, and that will take you to the best price on the NordicTrack website, where you can further compare the specs of these machines as well. It also helps support the channel, which is really appreciated because it helps me make more videos like this one. I've got both of these treadmills running now, and you should be able to hear them making adjustments. So this one has just gone from 0 to +3, and this one has just gone to +5. And this feature is called Auto Follow, and I absolutely love it. It's one of the, this one's going, it's distracting me. So with this feature, depending on the terrain, and these are both hikes, The treadmills will go up and back down to 0 according to the terrain. So this is a hike, so this one's at 8 degrees, this one's at 8 degrees as well. If it flattens off, they'll go back down to 0. And you can turn this feature off if you don't want to use it, but it just makes the workouts more immersive. And it's the same for speed as well. So if the trainer here starts running, then the treadmills will get faster. And if she starts walking, the treadmills will get slower. And one thing that the 1750 does that the 14i doesn't is it declines. And if you've never had a treadmill that declines, then you might not miss it. But if you've gone up a hike, for instance, like this, and you're out of breath, and then the trainer starts going downhill and you're just flat and not getting the benefit of the downhill, I don't know, I felt like when I was using this one, I did feel like I was missing out a little bit on that downhill rest when the treadmill was going downhill. So this one goes from -3 to +12, and this one goes from 0 to +12. If you like these hiking type workouts, and trust me, they will put you on your backside, some of them, they are difficult, then you might want to consider the 1750 over the 14i, not just because of that decline feature, because of the speed and the noise of the incline and decline motor. Both of these are set to 0. I'm just going to set them to 12 and you can see the difference in what I mean. Okay, I'll try and do this at the same time. I actually didn't think that one was moving. So hopefully you can see there is a marked difference between the speed that this one's inclining to this one. And I'll do this one on its own in a second when this one stops. So that took quite a bit longer for that to reach its full height than it did with this one, and it was quite loud. I'm going to bring this one down so you can hear the noise of this motor. So hopefully you can hear. This one's a lot quieter. Now when you're wearing headphones, it's not a huge thing, but there is a difference in the noise. Let me do this one. Yeah, just slower and noisier, and that might be a factor for you in choosing one of these treadmills. So with these two, these are really good if you've got more sensitive legs. If you're easily injured or you've perhaps got more sensitive joints, they're very comfortable treadmills. Both are exceptionally comfortable. I would score the 1450, the EXP14i, sorry, the EXP14i. I would score this one an 8 out of 10 for comfort. It's really very good. Maybe somewhere between an 8 and a 9 out of 10 for comfort. And I would score the 1750 a very solid 9 out of 10, because this is an exceptionally comfortable treadmill to run on. So for normal users, I think either, if you've got sensitive legs, either. If they're really sensitive like mine, then I think the 1750 might be the way to go for you. A tough choice between the EXP14i there and the NordicTrack 1750. Let's move on to some quick fire features of the EXP series treadmills that you may not know about. EXP14i retails generally just around the 2000 mark. And if you wanted to save a bit more, you can go for the smaller screen version of this with the 10-inch screen, or even smaller, the 7-inch screen. Because of the nature of NordicTrack's workouts, you can see they're quite an immersive experience. I would try and go for the 10 or ideally the 14-inch screen. The 7 and the 10-inch screens, those treadmills do have slightly lower powered motors as well. So if you can, go for the 14i. If not, I'm sure you'll be happy with the 10 or the 7. And because the screen here is attached to these arms, which go all the way down to the floor, to the base, it means that you're not going to get much screen wobble when you're running on the tread. Some treadmills, the arms come down and they actually sit on the treadmill, which means as you run, it wobbles, but this sits on the floor. Here it is at 3 miles an hour. I'll just take this up to 5 miles an hour. Now I can't see the screen moving at all, maybe you can. It's very secure to me. 7 miles an hour. I mean, you might be able to see more than me. And at 9 miles an hour, okay, this is much faster than I normally run. I'm not sure why I did that. And whether you're into walking, hiking, running, big incline stuff, and they've also got lots of off the tread workouts such as strength, yoga, meditation, etc. These outdoor immersive workouts are just the best of any platform that I've used. The class workouts, they've got class workouts too. And although these workouts are fine, they don't really excite me anywhere near as much as the outdoor workouts do. Especially if you're not a natural runner, for instance. Having an outdoor environment just kind of takes your mind off the fact that you're not good at running, and you get immersed in the story of the instructor and also the environment that you're in. The quality is very good, especially your touch points. As I mentioned earlier, it can feel a little bit scratchy plastic in places, but you're only touching these to get on or off the tread. When you're using the tread, the part that your feet touch and the part that your fingers touch are excellent. And the fact that NordicTrack have 17,000 workouts on their platform means that, I mean, I've been going for a couple of years now, and I don't think, and that's across treadmills and bikes, I don't think I've made a dent in the offering that NordicTrack have. And every time I get on the machine, it's recommending new workouts for me. After several months of using the EXP Series Treadmills, has some of the novelty worn off? Well, in this part of the video, let's find out with my 6-month update review. So one of my biggest bugbears with NordicTrack treadmills and their bikes is that the screens don't go off. They just go through a series of screensavers when they're not in use, which is fine if it's in a room that you're not in. This is my home gym, but if it's in your house, for instance, and the screen just doesn't go off unless you turn the machine off, I mean, I think that might get a little bit irritating. But NordicTrack have listened, so although this machine looks like it's off, you can see that it's actually asking me if it wants to wake, if I want to wake the machine up. One thing that really stands out with the 14i is the amount of space it takes up in your house. So next to it is a 1750, and you might be able to see that they've got exactly the same screen. So different surrounds, but the same tablet. But the 1750 is noticeably higher, and it's also got a longer running belt as well. So you should be able to see there, it's about 5 inches longer. So for home use, I think the 14i just really meets the criteria of being usable as a treadmill, but not too big in your house. Running pad with a running belt, it's 55 inches on this machine. But if you've got an exceptionally long stride or you're exceptionally tall, then I still think 55 inches will be fine. But if you are concerned, you might want to look at something like the 1750 or the 1250 with their 60-inch running belts. And at this point, I want to say, if you're thinking about buying a NordicTrack EXP 14i or any other piece of NordicTrack equipment, I'll put a link in the description. That will take you to the best price on the NordicTrack website, and it also helps support the channel and enables me to make even more videos like this one. Hopefully you can see there's quite a good bit of bounce in this treadmill. And even for someone like me who has sensitive joints, this is a very comfortable treadmill to run on. The workouts on this are 1080p, so the same as Peloton, Hydro and such like. They're not 4K, but this 14-inch tablet, which is the same as the one on the more expensive 17i, is just excellent. It really seems to upscale these workouts, and although they are 1080p, which is still really good resolution, they look really crisp and they're really immersive when you're doing them. The EXP 14i is a really good balance between price and quality of equipment. If you don't want to stretch to the commercial series treadmills, then the 14i is my pick of the EXP series. If you feel like you want this treadmill but would be happier with a smaller screen, you can look at the 10i. So the numbers sort of denote the screen size in this range. So the 14i has a 14-inch screen, the 10i has a more iPad size 10-inch screen. There's also a 7-inch screen on the 7i. Let's look at some more of the differences between the EXP7i, 10i and 14i. And it's easy to think the difference is just screen size, but there is a little bit more to it than that. Now, as you've probably guessed, the EXP 14i has a 14-inch screen, and that's the size of the screen across this axis. The 10i has a 10-inch screen and the 7i has a 7-inch screen. However, this part around the surround here is the same size on each machine. And you can see here that the 14i fills the surrounds really well. I think the 10i does a good job as well. If you were to look at the 7i, I feel like the screen is a little bit small for the surround, and I would wonder if I was using the 7i whether I'd be constantly thinking perhaps I should have got a screen that kind of fits the size of this console better. The 7i has a 2.6 continuous horsepower motor, whereas the 14i has a 3 continuous horsepower motor. And this might make a difference to you if you want to run at higher speeds for longer distances. I think if you're like a casual runner, so like novice to intermediate, I think you might not notice the difference. You probably won't notice the difference. But if you're somebody that really likes running fast and for longer distances, I think you might tell the difference between the two motors. I generally run at 4 to 6 miles an hour for about 30 to 45 minutes. So I feel like I would be fine with either machine. My wife runs at perhaps 6 miles an hour plus for longer distances than I do. And I think for her, she might benefit with the 3 continuous horsepower motor that's in this one. In addition to that, this also comes with one of my favorite features of NordicTrack treadmills, which you don't get on the 7i, which is this, the auto fan. And not only does that add to a sense of movement when you're working out, obviously it also helps keep you cool. And there are 4 settings. You've got 1, 2, and 3, and my favorite, which is auto. And on the auto setting, the fan blows as hard as you work out. So if you're ambling along on the treadmill, it will give you a nice, soft, gentle breeze. But if you started sprinting or running hard, for instance, then the air that comes out of the fan would be at a lot higher pressure. And it really is a feature that I didn't really think I needed, but it's probably one of my favorite features of this machine. Next is a mat. Not only will it help with comfort when you're running, it will also help protect your floor. So I'm not even sure you can see this little dent here in my floor. And this is from my 2450, which is behind me here. It's got wheels on the back here, and there's quite a small contact point when you're running on the floor. So I didn't realize, and it actually left a little dent in the floor. However, I think this is a lot less likely with the EXP10i. As you can see, that's got a nice big flat area. But nevertheless, get yourself a mat. I don't think you regret it. The next thing I really like is the ability to schedule workouts. So for instance, I'm currently doing this 5K training series in Romania, which is absolutely brilliant. And this series is absolutely amazing if you're looking to increase your fitness. And how it works is, I don't know if you've done the couch to 5K before, which is generally over 9 weeks. And if you're not very fit, or like me, have reduced lung function, it's about 65%, then the way that those programs ramp up can make the second half of them actually quite difficult. This is set into 60 workouts. So regardless of your fitness level, over the course of these 60 workouts, you will go from being able to just perhaps walk on the tread to then being able to run a 5K without stopping. And in addition to that, it's split into 2 halves. So 2 blocks of 30 workouts. And if, like me, for instance, you feel like your fitness is okay, but you'd like to increase it, then you can just skip the first 30 workouts and move straight on to the second 30. But it gives you 30 workouts to go from running blocks of 7 minutes without stopping up to half an hour without stopping. I just came across this. This is my first session with John Peel, my first kind of workout series with John Peel, who is excellent. And it's exciting to know that you can build your fitness at such incremental levels that you don't really even notice, but you do get to see the results. Anyway, back to scheduling. So this is the workout I'm due to do today, but say for instance, I like the look of this one, and well, maybe not that one. Let's have a look. Recommended workout, let's say this one. I don't want to do this workout today, but I don't want to lose it either. So what I can do is hit the schedule button here, and I can actually pick a date in the future when I would like to do that workout. So I might say, look, I'm going to do that, I don't know, in a month. And when I get on the treadmill around that date, it will be there waiting for me. The next feature I really like is dark mode. Now, I just find there's just too much like white on the screen. So if you just press on the little hamburger menu here, you'll be able to see appearance, which is just there. Click on appearance, and then you can switch it from light mode into dark mode. And compared to light mode, I think dark mode, well, it's night and day. I think this is it just looks a lot better in dark mode. Another great feature of this treadmill is manual mode. So if you wanted to just use manual mode just to do some laps, there's also a tablet holder here. You can just see it there. You can put an iPad or your phone along in this little groove and perhaps get a workout in and watch some Netflix at the same time. And my last tip is headphones, especially if you're an Apple user. And you probably know this already, your Apple headphones work amazingly well with all of your Apple devices, but they don't play well with Android devices. And I've had trouble over the years connecting to NordicTrack devices. I can have my headphones connect seamlessly for 6 months, then intermittently, then not at all, and then seamlessly again. It just doesn't make any sense. So what I recommend you do is just go onto Amazon and buy the cheapest headphones you can find with the highest rating. These were $20 and they sound really good, and they're only linked to this treadmill. So that means that there's no connectivity issues. As soon as I turn the treadmill on and open this box, they're connected. It saves any issues or hassle of trying to connect other headphones or multiple headphones to multiple machines. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and as promised, I hope you know everything you need to know now about the EXP Series Treadmills, except how to build one. And I'll put that video here as a separate video. As I've mentioned, I'll put a link in the description, which will take you to the best price on NordicTrack's website. It also helps support the channel and enables me to make more videos like this one. Until next time, see you soon.